La historia de la familia real de Hyrule es también la del cataclismo que se conoce como Ganon. Una amenaza existente desde épocas inmemoriales.
Parece que no recuerdas quién soy.
¿Ahora? Ya estás preparado para saber qué ocurrió hace 100 años.
Todo mi entrenamiento, toda mi preparación, no sirvió de nada.
¡Ahí te va! Por favor, salva a nuestra gente y a mi hija.
Abre los ojos.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning back with us here on Nintendo Treehouse Live with Nintendo Switch. My name is JC. I'm here with, I got Smitty on my right, and then to the right of him, that's Nate Dogg.
Hi.
Sorry, we have nicknames. But before we begin, I just want to say thank you for everyone that's out there telling us that we have some stream issues. We're totally working on that right now, but we're going to keep plugging along. So we're going to get right into the hardware and give you kind of an in-depth look at all the accessories, all the hardware. And again, thanks, guys. Appreciate keeping up with us, man. So
yes, and
y'all
there's a lot of
about
hardware
it?
to cover. This is a
Yes.
So many toys.
very versatile system.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So exciting. Well, can we start with this?
Let's
Yeah,
start
you
with
want
the
to?
box.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
This is empty. We've already unpacked it, but this obviously is what it's going to look like right here. Oh God, just holding it fills me with such lust.
Whoa,
but
okay.
inside it is all this. So let's get to the good stuff.
Yes. So first of all, you have the actual Switch console. This is our new home console from Nintendo, the Nintendo Switch.
Good camera over.
This camera? Yes, there we go. It is a beautiful piece of hardware. It feels so good in the hand.
Surprisingly thin too.
Yeah, surprisingly
The
thin.
first time we picked those up was like, oh my.
So it comes with these Joy-Con controllers, and what you can do is slide these puppies in. Do you hear that? Click. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but it feels so good. Like this is like stress relief for me every day, all day. I'm at my desk just doing this at work, like
I'm not going to lie, I do that too.
for hours. So you can pop these puppies on there. This allows you to control it in handheld mode. And then once you have this dock connected to your TV at home, you can go from playing in handheld mode and pop it straight in there. Oop, that was backwards, was it? No, that's right way.
There you go.
Boom. And there you have it. And then it's on your TV, and now you're playing.
Yep. And that's sort of the overview. I want to get down into like some of the little bits on this
Right.
thing.
Oh, do
really
it, do it,
quick,
do it.
if I can. So, first of all, you obviously you can be playing digital games, but we have game cards for this system. So, and actually, is there something in there?
Ooh,
I haven't
is
even
there?
opened it, but
There's something in here?
so this is
This
that's
is
a game box for what I'm going to be
Here.
playing obsessively.
Would you like to take a look at this?
This
Here.
is Zelda.
Let's
get a
get
shot
close
at it?
up on that.
Here, you want to hold the box too, so people can see what the box looks
Oh
like?
yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my.
You gotta do the
Obviously-
360. You gotta flip it around, man. You gotta see the back. See those contacts. They're so shiny.
Ooh, shiny contacts.
I'm going to just blow on those real quick.
That's our
is
old
that-
system.
it's-
You don't have to do
We
it.
don't have to, we have to float.
That's what
I
they
know.
took from the NES, because they took something from every system. You know,
That's
right?
Bob it in, close it. We, of course, have the kickstand here, and I don't know if we actually mentioned this earlier, but this is actually where your micro SD card will go. So if you want to be starting,
Right.
oh, do we have one of those too?
Here, check it out, dude. Here. Take one of
I'm
these.
so terrified.
I don't know if you guys
of
can
losing
see the
this
numbers on this micro SD card. We have a 256 gigabyte.
Don't
micro
lose it,
SD
dude.
card.
I was
thing.
like,
Seriously, I don't
You
want to
pop
lose
that
this
in
thing.
there, and
Slide it right in
you
the
have
slot.
storage forever, essentially.
Yeah. Pop it in there, and of course the kickstand works when you play this in
Right.
tabletop mode. which-
Well, they put so much thought into the engineering of this thing. I mean, because you have the kickstand, it's already there. You might as well hide the SD card slot underneath that.
Mhm.
Everything just is so well thought out.
Yep. And so we obviously we just showed it the way you play it at home when you're docked.
Right.
Pull it out and play it on the go. When you're playing it in handheld mode, you're whatever sitting on the train, sitting on the plane, playing it like this. What we're calling tabletop mode is when you are going to kick the kickstand out, grab these, set them up. To be honest, this there's a number of ways that you can play this. I personally will play like this on a plane quite a bit, I
Right.
think. But
Well, that's the way, like, with I'd just be on my couch, just kind of, like,
Just
lean
full
back.
lounging.
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like,
It's
lounging.
all back, man.
but of course, each of these are individual controllers. So I mean, we could set this up,
Absolutely.
and we're sitting next to each other on the train
Right.
and jamming out. playing
Right, and
games
the design
here.
of this thing is so that this kind of mimics like a SNES controller, in that you have those same inputs. Obviously, instead of a directional pad, we have a analog stick now.
Yep.
But it's
clickable stick.
yeah.
So it's
Quick,
button. And I think the first time, I mean, you got pretty big hands. I got sort of normal size hands. I think the first time we saw these, we're like,
I was
oh,
a little worried.
It seemed like it was going to be small, but this is one of the reasons why it's so important that we have, sampling going on where other people are out there playing it. We get
Right.
to do some hands on here. But it's really surprising when you get your hands on this
It
thing.
is.
sort of how comfortable it
It
feels.
just kind of disappears into your hand.
Yep. I mean, and
It's an
yeah,
extension
again,
of your body at that point.
whether you're playing it like this or like this. Yeah.
Right.
What's so funny is you mentioned how it disappears your hand. I don't know if you guys saw the thing for Switch. We were I mean Nintendo Switch. We did ARMS like last segment, and like I remember grabbing first time when I first played ARMS, and I started throwing punches. And I was like, that's great. And then hey, Bill looked over and said, "How's it feel?" I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, he's like, "The
my
Joy-Con." I'm like, "Oh yeah," and I totally forgot I was holding them. Like it just So you'll understand when you put it in your hands.
And that segment pointed out what I think is obvious to a lot of people by now. So accelerometers and gyrometers in both of these. So tilt control like this. If you're playing it like this, you're obviously going to be able to do whatever you like. I think we also have shown these as well. So the SR and the SL buttons are up here. So when you're playing this mode, like if you were playing, like SNES style as you were talking about, those would be your shoulder buttons. But the system also comes with these straps, right? So when you click these on, it's really, I mean, for safety's sake, obviously, you want to wear this, but you don't have to. If you're basically playing it without these buttons, it really depends on your own comfort level. Like some people, I think, will want to play a lot of games without this because it just fits their hand better. But for other people, sliding the wrist straps on will give them a little bit extra juice on top of this, and it extends the L and R buttons up top, so a little bit more comfortable like this. These ones, and I should point out, these come with it. We have some lovely colors here as well. These are actually sold separately. I love these colors.
They are extreme.
They're bright, man. Like if you take it even, they're bright.
They pop. I mean, they do pop. I mean, it's
Right?
like I don't think I've ever seen a physical object like that looks this bright. It just like floods my eyes with color, and I love it.
Yeah.
And I love the finish on all of these. If you look at the standard controllers, and then these, they all have this kind of matte finish, which just looks sexy, to be honest.
Yep.
Like it looks so good.
Neon blue, neon red. So again, those will be separate. And we also have. Maybe you should show that one too. Here, I'll give you one of these.
Well,
if you wanna play
go
it.
ahead.
No, you here. I'll pop it down.
Oh,
You got
this
this.
guy.
what? Oh yeah,
wait,
yeah,
wait,
you
do
do
it.
it. Yeah, here, go
So
ahead.
this-
Yes.
This is the wheel accessory, which you can also is also sold separately, but you can also plug this in. I don't know how many people sort of. I think that there are two camps from playing Mario Kart. Certainly, there were in the Wii era where there are people who were absolutely devoted to normal controls, which is fine. There are people who got really excellent at motion controls and really loved it. I certainly did. I personally like to finish races driving one-handed with my wheels, just like this.
And that's why you always came in 8.
Not like
Only
I do
in
in real
first.
life.
Only in first.
Hand on 12, other hand in the air. Like.
Anyway, this is obviously a little bit smaller than that, but still actually feels really, really
This
good.
is, and you have the L and R buttons as
on
well.
the back.
That's
So,
good enough.
again,
So when
something-
you're Mario Karting, you can be tossing shells out, and of course.
it's funny, and it's unfortunate that with this medium, obviously everybody can't reach out and grab these, but really putting your hands onto all of these, not only just the system itself and the Joy-Con controllers that come with it, but the accessories as well. People are going to really get to feel sort of exactly how good all this stuff feels.
Yeah.
And speaking of good feel, you want to show that bad boy off because I know that's going to be your favorite.
You want me? All right.
Yeah,
This is one of my favorite pieces. This is the Pro Controller or Nintendo Switch Pro Controller, and this thing is. I remember the first time I held it. I always think about my favorite controllers because it has everything you would want, right? Face buttons for A, B, X, Y buttons. You have the left and right sticks. You have the pad. You have plus minus buttons. You have the L and R buttons. Exactly the same. But what really gets me about this is I like the distance between when it bottoms out and it's really clicky. The other part of this is there's a heft and a weight to it.
Oh yeah.
And then I started closing my eyes thinking man, I'm thinking about my favorite controller and really it was GameCube, but only up to this point. As soon as I put my hands on this thing, I was like, oh no.
Honestly,
this is
I
bad.
do think this is
so
my
good.
favorite controller ever.
Yeah.
I've used every controller known to man. I love the asymmetrical sticks. The stick, it has the perfect amount of resistance for me. We do play kind of every console.
Yeah.
So it's we know what sticks feels like. And this one, certain sticks on certain controllers, I'm not going to name names, were too loose for me, to play an FPS game or whatever. But this feels just perfect for
Just
everything
right.
for me.
I don't know if you can see this on the feed too, but you can see the circuitry under there. This is sort of there's a transparency here to the faceplate, so you can see underneath. That's what all that little stuff is in the background. I really like this design.
Yeah, it is nice.
And what's interesting is inside this, there's pretty much everything else, right?
Yep.
You have what? You have
accelerometer, gyrometer.
gyrometer.
There's the reader. So for
NFC.
Readers right up,
Amiibo,
kind
you
of
can just
like
pop
right
it on there.
here.
We don't
It's
have
like
one right now,
top,
unfortunately.
but you can just boop right on top of it.
Oh
so
yeah,
you don't have
actually,
to
we should have
reach
mentioned
over.
that as well. That's,
Oh, yeah.
that's on this the right Joy-Con as well. Is the NFC reader.
Oh,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
Sorry,
dive into that even a little bit more as far as what all it has in it.
Oh man.
Throw me,
yeah.
throw me one of those
here.
grips too.
Yeah,
So
sure.
this also
You want
comes in the box. So this
grip.
is
You want one?
this is the grip, and I mean couldn't really be easier. Let's pull this bad boy out. Snap those guys out. Snap them in here. And now you're playing. So the Pro Controller, of course, is sold separately, and it's an awesome controller. But for people who want just straight out of the box to have what feels like a little bit more of a traditional controller, I think this is going to be really, really surprising to everyone. Fits perfectly in the hands, and it's exactly like everything else. It's accelerometer, gyrometer. You can play Splatoon. We play Splatoon 2 like mad with this thing.
Sure.
And it's excellent. There's also a charging grip accessory that'll come as well that you can actually plug these into, plug like a spare set of Joy-Con into and charge.
Yeah, speaking of charging, we haven't actually, I guess, talked about all of this yet. We might as well. I mean, I think we're ready to talk about the Joy-Con controllers in depth. But these are constantly charging when they're attached to your Nintendo Switch system. So it's kind of this, you never really have to worry about them running out of juice because they're kind of like passively charging every time you pop it in there. I mean, you don't have to think about it, which is super cool.
Yep. No, this is, I love this thing.
You don't have to mention, speaking of other features of that, one thing I really liked was when you had to use my system at work, all you had to do to sync your pair of controllers is you just went plunk and you popped them on, popped them off, and they're synced. They're done. That's it.
Right, because you can actually connect, a number of Joy-Con controllers to one Switch system.
Yep.
And they will all sync the second you pop them in there like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yep.
Easy.
So a couple things we still haven't covered. Of course, the home button over here. We have the capture button for capturing screenshots, and as we mentioned in the stream last night, eventually we'll be capturing video as well to share online all of your exploits. There's the NFC readers in the right Joy-Con. There's also, I don't know if you can see this. We got this in the camera. Yeah. That is the IR camera. And as Mr. Koizumi demonstrated last night, it basically can judge depth. It can judge sort of motion. It can judge JC snacking on things that I think we're going to be showing a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about the gameplay possibilities that are going to get unlocked with this. It's just yet another cool piece of tech that's in there that I think for a lot of people, you get overwhelmed with the amount of information, the amount of tech that's in something, and hopefully, if you're like me, your mind sort of comes alive with the possibilities of what software developers will be thinking when they get their hands on this stuff. They can, like, how many ideas is this going to foment for them to come out with great software for our system? So it fills me with excitement, and I'm glad that there are people much smarter than I am who are actually going to utilize these tools to make awesome games for me to play.
Well, it's crazy thinking about how much tech is packed into just 5 inches or however big this thing is. It's like it's a technological marvel as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so don't lose it.
Yes, I'll do my
seriously.
best.
Have to take good care.
In general, even like with the console itself, the first thing when I picked it up was like, this thing is thin, bro. Like this thing is really like it
is thin,
and there's a lot of it, right?
but it's so sturdy. Like playing Splatoon, on my Wii U gamepad, I would. You get frustrated sometimes when your team isn't keeping up, and you're shaking. And like this thing is so solid. I don't know if I could break this thing if I tried. I'm not going to try.
Don't try. That would not be good for a live stream.
It's true.
I don't think we even. I'm just trying to think of stuff that we didn't show. There's too much here for us to show, but
oh yeah,
I also wanted to show this too. We've got USB ports here on the back, obviously.
Right.
You're going to have HDMI out of this, of course, to your TV. So games will be, whatever software is compatible, of course, can be at 1080p on your TV.
Of course.
720 on your when it's in handheld mode as well.
Right.
Looks great either way. I mean, I think we'll be showing people for the rest of the day, but it's amazing how awesome the transfer is where you're like, oh, this game looks amazing on my television. I'm having such a good time. You pull it out. It's brilliant on a really, really small screen.
And that thing happens fast, too. I do remember that thing happens really quick. Like, the moment I take it out, like, I was playing a little bit of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at someone's desk, and I was like, pop. I'm like, oh, wow. And I pushed it back in, and then as fast as it
And it
takes for
pops
you to
right
like,
back on.
switch an input onto, it's the same like speed,
Yep.
and you're just like, oh, in the middle of the race, right? And you just kind of
Right.
keep going. It's
Yep.
really seamless, faster than you'd think.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of
pretty-
bizarre that I already take that for granted. It's like, oh yeah, of course. Just like, plug it in and play it on TV. And it's like, no, that's new.
It's just human
Yeah,
nature,
it's
man.
pretty awesome.
It feels weird, right? Like, yeah, it feels super different. Oh man. Do you know what?
Yeah.
So check it out. You know, there's, again, I want to thank everyone for kind of keeping up with us. You know, we are having quite a bit of technical difficulties, but again, we appreciate you guys sticking with us through this, and thanks for working us with that. But, you know, we've given you guys a really good rundown of the hardware, and we're going to get into more games, frankly, but I have a surprise. So next up, we're going to bring Reggie on. So we'll be right back with Nintendo Treehouse Live with Nintendo Switch, and yeah, don't go anywhere. Reggie's coming up.